Hello, this is the Radical Reviewer taking a look at virtue signaling, a term coined by alt-right, anarcho-capitalist neoliberal types to explain why it is that liberal and leftist types call out various social justice issues. According to anarcho-capitalist, libertarian, neoliberal alt-righters, the term virtue signaling is when someone disingenuously calls out a social justice issue, an issue of sexism, inequality, racism, etc., calling out something problematic. They do so in order to demonstrate to those around, particularly a member of the preferred gender, that they are a gallant warrior of social justice who is woke AF in an attempt to impress them and get laid. That is to say, people on the left, from liberals to radicals to
tofu-eating, male feminist virtue signaling, beta orbiter, soy boys.
Thank you, Paul, you brain force popping manosphere, politically and economically illiterate journalist. Where was I? Right. People on the left call out social justice issues to demonstrate that they are of good moral character to someone they are trying to have sex with.
I'm wearing this shirt and you won't even let me nut!
Are people really so selfish? It's interesting that these neoliberal types are so in love with this Adam Smith, Ayn Rand style selfishness that the only way they can conceive of a person being concerned with the plight and well-being of someone else is if they're doing so as some sort of pickup artist scheme. Now, I realize not every accusation of virtue signaling is specifically of this pickup artist variety. True, some accusations of virtue signaling are simply accusations of being all talk and no action. But this is true of people from every political persuasion. Also, I address hollow activism very heavily in my review of How Nonviolence Protects the State. It is for these reasons that I'm singling out the pickup artist argument variety of accusations of virtue signaling. Now, I'm not saying that this behavior absolutely never happens. I, for example, had a conversation with a friend who criticized a woman's self-destructive behavior in a sort of I would treat her better than those guys because I'm a nice guy fashion. But this is hardly the norm, and it definitely doesn't explain away the arguments for equality and social justice as a whole. In fact, I'm sure even these neoliberal alt-right individuals are not as selfish as their political philosophy claims. I'm sure that they like or even love their friends and family. Or maybe not. Maybe in their eyes, they only feed their children not as an act of compassion for the well-being of the child, but actually just a selfish attempt to impress their wives or girlfriends in order to get laid. Or as Michael Albrecht has argued.
Now let's look and see whether or not there's some sort of a biological imperative to behave in a market fashion. Well, just ask yourself how you behave with your friends, or how you behave in your family, right? Do you sit at the dinner table and barter the soup? Do you sit at the dinner table and decide whether or not the young child is going to get soup by whether or not they have enough money in their pocket to have the soup? Do you determine the relative value of things in the family by competing for them? Of course not. There's no drive to do that. The drive to do that exists in society is created by the fact that we live in a market system.
Okay, so people on the left and right alike don't really function in this selfish, individualistic way. But calls for social justice are not completely devoid of self-interest. It is in our interest to live in a more democratically and economically free society. Or as Michael Parenti has argued,
you know what we Americans have to be? We real patriots, we got to be more selfish. We can't be like the super patriots. They're selfless. They want to die, they want to kill, they want to die for their country, they want to kill people for their country, they want to die for their country. And they're selfless because they never worry about the quality of our life.
That is to say, true selfishness would be to recognize that we are only as free as the least among us. When we fight for democratic freedom, economic freedom, and social justice, when we fight to secure a better and safer, more equitable life for the least among us, we are securing such a life for all of us. And to meet my quota for quoting smart people in the video, since people have to do that these days, I'd also like to refer to Derrick Jensen, who has argued this selfishness argument as well as critiquing the leftist view of tolerance by stating,
I get letters from Morris Dees asking me if I want to put my name on the wall of tolerance. I'm pretty special. All I have to do is I have to give them like $10 or something. But I've been writing them letters saying, you know, I don't want to do this. What I will do is I'll be happy. I'll send you $10 if you put my name on the wall of intolerance. But he doesn't write back. And because I think that the truth is that we shouldn't tolerate as much as we do. I think we need to tolerate a lot less. I don't think we should tolerate a political and economic system that's almost entirely corrupt. I don't think we should tolerate dioxin in every mother's breast milk. I don't think we should tolerate any of those things.
In summation, virtue signaling does not exist in the way it is described. People on the left recognize issues of social justice not out of some bizarre selfish desire to get laid, but rather out of the very rational and real self-interested desire to live in a better world. The claim virtue signaler says a lot more about the selfish, sex-obsessed worldview of those who say the term than it does for those who are being labeled as such. If you're interested in radical theory, looking for a book recommendation or whatever, you can get your radical reviews here with the Radical Reviewer. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, but we're having too much fun sober.
Okay, that's cool. We were just going around trying to collect empties and recycle them.
Oh, well, here, take this.
There's like a lot of waste at these parties.
That's awfully noble of you.
I don't know that it's noble. It's just what we're compelled to do. Oh, by the way, we're having a little fete to save the rainforest. If you guys like to come, show your support. Yeah.
It's not going to be like this, is it?
No, not at all. It's going to be decent. It's at the quad.
All right. Okay, we'll be there.
Great.
We'll see you tomorrow.